Welcome back. Confessions on the Darkside presents Bitten, creatures that give you the fear to leave. Creatures from horror that make it never safe to leave, whether it's on land, sea, or anywhere for that matter. Hello and welcome back. I'm Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Darkside. How are you all in this wonderful community today? Good? Yeah? Disclaimer time. We are so full of so much adult content. Some may think it is unnecessary. You may think that it isn't needed. If you are one of those people, then thanks for checking us out. But I will say this only once. If you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out of my kitchen. Now, for everyone else who likes what we have here, then regular scheduled programming will continue. Shall we get started? Are we ready? Well, what are we covering today? Is it ever safe to go back in the water, walk outside, or go on an adventure? It seems that nowhere is safe. Whether it's on land or sea, what movies will we be discussing today? Animal horror. And all that is unsure or unheard of, these movies are the exception. When there is no boundary and your imagination can run wild, so do these creatures. Are we ready? So, why do animals give us the fear when featured in horror movies? I have no idea. But some of these movies are, again, based on imagination alone, not any sort of fact. How does this make us feel as humans? Well, depending on well, not even a fear. It's more of a what gets stuck in your mind. What do you remember? And then it kind of just hides in your and stays in your brain rent free until what, something happens and you literally that's all you can think about. So, what animal freaks you out the most? For me, it's more of what animals can they create into a hybrid. Will that contain like cloning or splicing DNA to make something they cannot even explain why it exists, yet it does. And then it attacks. And then they wonder why. Well, this kind of reminds me of in Jurassic Park where they create splicing DNA to create the Indominus Rex and they said that they would never have raptors. And yet we find out that the Indominus Rex does. And that's why it can communicate with other types of dinosaurs. So there's that, where they kept that under wraps. Scary enough. What animal horror movies have scared you the most? Well, I think Jaws from early childhood is a safe bet for all. I I thought we had I said I thought we had great white sharks here growing up, and it would always make me incredibly paranoid to find out that no, we don't have them here. But it still makes you never want to go anywhere or go into the water at all. And in reality, cows actually kill more humans every year than great white sharks. But it's how they're perceived in horror movies and in horror. Because like the ocean is their domain, etc. And it's not your rules, it's their rules. Let me know in the comments below what animal freaks you out the most and why. And what animals in animal horror movies have scared you the most. And I don't think Jaws is more of a scary thing, it's just more of a it takes you back to that simpler time in childhood where you literally think sharks are everywhere when they're fucking not. Which animal movies still have you scared to enter the territory? Still sharks. Even though they are wonderful creatures, we have so many movies of creating or making animals aware to the point they end up making us their prey. It'll always go back to the initial ways of how their brains see us as their food, and it's like fucking run. And the type of movies that I do watch, that is basically the conclusion, the evaluation of you better fucking run because they're coming for you, kind of like just a serial killer. When you think of when animals attack in horror, what comes to mind for you? For me, we've had so many terrible bad yet genius ideas in the genre of horror, and it still makes me laugh, cringe, and look around me, even in the event of it could be watching me as it lurking and cannot survive out of the water feeling. We know the feeling in the dark or overthinking or trying to get back to sleep. We all get it, and it never just after watching the movie. It's sometimes years later to make your wee brain go all obscure thinking, where the fuck did that come from? And again, as I was saying earlier, it happens to the best of us. Apparently, psychologists have actually done research on different creatures and animals that we find scary and revolting, and how this actually is technically a fear that can trigger a phobia of some sort. Like there's a pattern So for most people, you kind of get things like snakes, scorpions, centipedes, whether it's the human centipede or not, and large carnivores like cheetahs and hyenas. Again, lions, tigers, and bears. It's one of the actual topics, the menus that I've done, options. It has been lion, tigers, and bears. And there's also mythical creatures as well, which again they say Phobos, god of personification of fear and panic in Greek mythology. And he was the son of Ares and Aphrodite and the brother of Deimos. And apparently he's the mythical creature that causes fear. So again, the wide spectrum of animal horror out there, people would be surprised what actually is classified as mythological and things that are created in a lab that fiund where there's a mad scientist out there doing something he probably fucking shouldn't be. And they don't need movies to actually foretell that because find well that's what's going to happen. It's been a long way since Dolly the sheep, and I doubt Dolly the sheep's going about fucking killing things. Do we have the best genre of animal horror movies? Let me know in the comments below. If there is a certain type of creature or animal that you prefer to watch, are you into everything ocean, everything on land, you never know, in the lakes? So apparently the fear that cause natural world like killer plants, animals, catastrophic weather events, etc. are known as eco horror studies in the Anthropocene. That's what they're calling it. I've probably butchered it in some fucking way, but when do I never? Again, it's not always my fault. My brain can't process some words, or my tongue can when I speak. So, again, like I said, psychologists have been studying how frightening and disgusted people are in studies by certain types of animals, ranging from like your pets right up into insects, amphibians, snakes, and stuff. Like you've got snail, dog, bull, maggot, cockroach, viper, and grass snake, and ants. And again, you can have phobias of insects and beasties and stuff like that. It's again another thing that can make your skin crawl for one. That's usually a thing with like ants and any sort of insect. Then when you've got like animal phobias, it could literally be triggered by maybe being attacked by an animal growing up or having a bad experience with a pet or an animal of some sort that you've come across in life. And again, that can instill fear probably for the rest of your life, unless you want to overcome it. Then it stays in your brain rent free. So there's 5 groupings. Fear relevant non-slimy small animals such as cockroaches, ants and wasps. Mouse-like animals such as mouse, rat and bat, which they scored low apparently. I don't really like birds, but again, birds are portrayed as well. In Resident Evil, they are eating on undead flesh, therefore they're becoming undead themselves. Then you have the birds with Alfred Hitchcock, where all you can see is birds in the fucking sky, run the fuck away. Do you really want to be pecked by them? Pecked, not pegged, pecked. I'm clarifying that right now and clearing that up. Mammals such as cat, dog, horse, which again, low fears and maybe a disgust of some sort of feeling with those types of mammals. And I was kind of scared of dogs growing up because I never really had a pet growing up. And I think everyone has either a bad story or maybe a bad experience of a dog. I had a Rottweiler run at me for earmuffs. And instead of dropping them, because I love my earmuffs, I continued to run, and the Rottweiler jumped right on top of me. And it was a Rottweiler without a muzzle on, who obviously was seething at the mouth and everything like that. And I was literally petrified. And I know Rottweilers aren't like that. It depends on how you raise an animal and how it actually acts. So being a dog owner myself and having dogs that we've had through rescue, we've never had ones who have ever went for us or other dogs. Again, it's all to do with how dogs are raised and the environment that they're in, how they react to things. So I don't have a fear of dogs anymore. I was just unsure, and I think that's what a lot of people are really, really unsure, especially with, again, dealing with fear and phobias. We have our pets going rogue, and I was speaking to my husband about this, and I said what animal kind of freaked him out, like growing up, and he said Cujo, and then When I think about it, yeah. No one wants a Cujo. It's like, could you tame him? Probably the fuck not. Hell no. For Cujo, it is a good movie, but it is enough to not. If you've seen that as a kid and you'd never had an animal, it's going to put you off. You're going to remember that face and that growl from Cujo. Also for pets, I put gremlins underneath there because technically you get them wet, they become fucked up. You feed them at the wrong time, they get fucked up. So again, even though gremlins are not a real animal, they're still technically they were classed as like a companion. They were a gift to that guy from his dad, but he was given strict rules and he couldn't fucking follow them. And he was an adult. So imagine a child with a gremlin. I don't see that happening either. So when is it safe to go back in the lake, or was it ever safe to go in the lake in the first place? So we have the movies that would be in this category. Lake Placid, again, awesome movie. Betty White was brilliant in that movie, especially when she was feeding the massive, was it an alligator? Cows. It was hilarious. Betty White was awesome. Again, I love Lake Placid. I haven't seen the sequels. Didn't realize there was fucking sequels, but hey, in that genre, anything you can't have anything, you can't have everything, and you can create and expand. And it doesn't matter if it's so far fetched and no one's going to fucking believe it because half this shit is fake anyway. So it doesn't matter. So you can be. There doesn't seem to be any sort of source untapped there. They can really just go for it no matter what. We also have Croc, Eaten Alive, Blackwater, Rogue, Blackwater Abyss, Crocodile, frogs. I'm not a big fan of frogs either. There is a video actually on I think my personal social media, or I think it's my channel social media it might be. And in my greenhouse there was a fucking frog that jumped out at me. And I about shat myself. I was screaming like a mentalist. And I decided to make like a David Attenborough type voiceover when I recorded said frog, but there's actually two frogs in my greenhouse, and yes, they do good things. They eat all the beasties and protect my plants, and whatever I don't use, they eat. But having them jump out at me when I'm trying to actually, weed out my plants is not good. That literally still instills the fucking fear in me. So I doubt I'll be watching a film called Frogs to, relive and rejog that fucking memory since every summer it fucking happens. But get to live my own fear every single year. Beneath, Piranha, Blood Lake, Crawl, and Alligator. A lot of these movies are what people would class not even as B list, I'd say Z list movies, but everybody's got to start somewhere. Some people end up always staying in that genre because they are typecasted, and maybe they like doing terrible bad movies because it doesn't matter. You're still being fucking paid, and you can still end up with a career doing terrible movies, even though you're a good actor. I mean, you just don't have to try very hard. Then, if the lake isn't safe, I doubt the ocean is either, so stay away from the water at all costs. Jaws, again, going to need a bigger boat. It has funny bits in it. It has carnage in it. I always like it when Jaws would actually, when they had attacked people, because it was like the blood getting all pretty in the water. I know that probably sounds mortifying that I'm saying that the blood looked pretty in the water, but it does. It's aesthetically pleasing. Deep Blue Sea, again, Samuel Jackson's in that movie. He makes that movie awesome. Also, LL Cool G's in it as well. He's really, really funny. It's just one of those movies that you literally made them more intelligent. What the fuck were you expecting? You basically weaponized them and then created a community of their prey just there waiting patiently to be attacked by them whenever they decided, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm not playing this game, I'm not your fucking puppet, and I'm just going to massacre you all. I don't give a fuck. The Meg, again, Jason Statham's in it. Again, the first one was really good. To see the second one, and I was really disappointed. It kind of reminded me of a cross between one of the Jaws movies, Underwater, and also Deep Blue Sea. And there was a TV show as well here. It's an American show though. That was like a mini series that was on when I was younger, and it was based in a facility that had sharks in it, and they were like working and experimenting on them. So it's something really, really similar. And the Meg was like that too. But if you weren't aware, the Meg is basically based on the megalodon, which was a prehistoric animal that was around during the dinosaurs and is said to be older, but lives at the bed of the ocean kind of thing, because it's been proven that it did exist. Even though some people think it doesn't, they still think it's a myth. But it's based on the Meg, as it's called, the Megalodon. And as you can imagine, everything's calm as fuck. And I'm sorry, but Jason Statham's in a movie and it might be family friendly, but there's going to be explosions and there's going to be violence of some sort. He's in it. And that's pretty much all you, that's a description of him. If he's in it, then shit's going to go down and he's going to save the fucking day because he's probably told everybody what you're doing is wrong and this is going to fucking happen, and it ends up happening in more ways than one. Shark Lake, I've never seen, but it sounds similar to the movies that I just actually described. I'll just pull up the IMDb because it's always funny to actually read the descriptions of these movies when you, because there's so many terrible movies out there that are out. Obviously, for all the, cause back in the day, you used to have like the blockbuster, then it was like the B list movie, and then there was a few like terrible movies. What did we do without IMDb? It was just our brain. Oh, Shark Lake. I gets 1.5 stars. It says 3.4 out of 10, but it's get 1.5 stars out of 5. It's got Dolph Lundgren in it. How can it be shite? A local sheriff, Meredith Hendricks, makes it her mission to capture the animal and bring exotic animal collector to justice. Oh my goodness. Well, it's got, again, some random, not nudity, but frolicking, I'll say. Who else is in it? Let's see. Do I recognise anybody? There's a guy who looks like Santa Claus. He looked familiar. Ted Ferguson. But anybody else? Do not know them. Couldn't pick them out and lineup because I don't know who the fuck they are. So what else? It gets a really shit rating. Avalanche Sharks. Now, I did not see that one. So not even going skiing is safe from sharks. What in the actual fuck? That got 2.3 out of 10. So this one, fiercely protective single mom, Meredith Hendricks, happens to also be the best cop in our quiet town on Lake Tahoe. Yeah, because she'll live in a tiny wee ass town, and again, it seems to be like a kind of diversity hire there. When a black market exotic species dealer named Clint is paroled from prison, something he let loose begins to make its presence known. Swimmers and land lovers alike begin to become part of the food chain at an unbelievable rate. Meredith and the new man in her life, a biologist, of course it is, named Peter, begin to investigate these brutal attacks and discover they're not just hunting one eating machine, but a whole family of them, of course. After the documentary crew is devoured when they don't take the threat seriously, it is up to Meredith, Peter, and an unlikely hero, Clint, to stop the most dangerous thing on the planet. A mother protecting its young. Not everyone will make it out alive, but those who do will never forget this summer at Shark Lake. What the fuck? Terrible Jaws wannabe with awful production, Dolph Lundgren shoehorned into it. I think everybody just wants, everybody likes money, most likely. It had a £2 million estimated budget. It's a 92-minute movie, which we really get these. So terrible story, and some carnage and maybe some frolicking nudity type shite. It's probably one of those movies. If it's anything like the movie that I watched last weekend, it will probably be better. It does look terrible. It looks like it was made in the 90s, but it was in 2015. Wow. Yeah, that's sounds about right. So, lions, tigers, and bears, miscellaneous fuzzy specimens, animal beasts, the monster, man-eater, uncaged, boar, prey, pet, anonymous animals, boar, again, I don't know why I wrote that twice, I know it's got a sequel, grizzly, rage, zombies, like zoo, like the zoo, zombies, the grizzly maze, long weekend, hogwood, my animal, and razorback. Again, I didn't put in lions and tigers and bears, I didn't put werewolves because they're a supernatural creature. They're not technically created. They are, you would scratch or bitten by an actual werewolf, or like some, you're born with the DNA for that. So it's technically not animal horror because it's supernatural being, not created. That's why I have not added any sort of supernatural beings into this list or these categories, because it's a different category and topic altogether. Some people may disagree with me. Come for me in the comments. I really don't care. This is just the way I do it and the way my brain sees it and perceives it. So come for me all you want. Prehistoric entities, raptor, tremors, and the relic. Yeah, a homicide detective and an anthropologist try to destroy a South American lizard-like god who's on a people-eating rampage in a Chicago museum. The next evolution in terror. So an evil-like lizard god. Was it the royal family? Did David Icke have something to do with this? A detective is puzzled after a recent spate of deaths involving decapitations. He visits a museum when a new victim is found, murdered in the same way. In the museum, he encounters an evolutionary biologist who herself is puzzled after discovering a mutated beetle that possesses both insect and reptilian DNA. Of course. The detective finds a common link between the murders, the hypothalamus missing from the brains of the victims. Together, they both try to defeat a monster/killer who's on a killing spree. So, yeah. It's lousy and I love it. That is hilarious. It's lousy and I love it. Does this get out of 10? 5.8 out of 10, which I'm actually surprised. It must have some sort of relatively good story for it to get 5.8, or it's got boobs, pretty much. Nudity. So, Tremors, again, who doesn't love a wee Kevin Bacon movie to just tide us over? Again, it was out in 1990, the original movie. I seen this by accident, actually, when I, like, as a teenager. It's a comedy and a horror. Natives of a small isolated town defend themselves against strange underground creatures which are killing them one by one. It gives me all sorts of kind of June vibes with the kind of sandworm type. But it was always like, again, it has how many movies? It seems there is a lot. A lot. I am still surprised that there is. So a small town gradually becomes aware of a strange creature which picks off people one by one. But what is this creature and where is it? At the same time, a seismologist is working in the area and she detects tremors. The creatures live underground and can pop up without warning. Trapped in their town, the town folk have no escape. Move! Yeah, move. There's an easier one for that. It's apparently a great monster movie. Are you kidding me? A great monster movie. It's predictable, yet over time, just humans have got dumber and they have better weapons. It seems to take them out, yet they still haven't managed to completely wipe them off the planet. Maybe they'll do one in the future where they actually will end the franchise the now, because that should have happened ages ago. So we have creepy crawlies, insects, and amphibians. Now, arachnophobia, that is, again, I did not find that film scary, and I don't like spiders, and I absolutely detest spiders, as everybody knows. You've got Jeff Daniels, Julian Sands, because he was awesome. Still really upset about his demise. John Goodman. Kind of don't really know about any of the other. Roy Brocksmith, he's in loads of stuff. So is Kathy Kinney as well. She kind of gets typecast, that woman. So, a large spider from the jungles of South America is accidentally transported in a crate with a dead body to America where it mates with a local spider. Soon after, the residents of a small Californian town disappear as a result of spider bites from the deadly spider's offspring. The plot thickens. It's up to a couple of doctors aided by an insect exterminator. An insect exterminator, not a sex exterminator. What the fuck? Oh my god. To annihilate these eight-legged freaks before they take over the entire town. Taglines: 8 legs, 2 fangs, and an attitude. Well, not really the 8 legs, but the 2 fangs and an attitude could literally be anyone walking about. So this movie, again, people are saying it's the scariest movie ever. I think that has to be sarcasm. This movie gets 6.5 out of 10. It looks really, the cover for the movie itself looks really innocent. It's really nice. Just like the moon, like kind of like countryside, and then just one wee spider coming down. And spiders, usually around about August, September time, we get these humongous spiders in. They're like a tiny wee body and massive fucking legs. Between Jenny Longlegs coming in the summer scaring the bejesus out of me because they literally fly, or Danny Longlegs, Jenny Longlegs, whatever you want to fucking call them. They scare the bejesus out of me because they can fly and they have big ass legs, and they literally know that you're scared of them, so they fly at you on purpose. But I absolutely detest frogs, spiders, and snakes. They don't. I wouldn't touch one or go out of my way to like befriend one. They don't really bother me, but I wouldn't go out my way to like annoy it. Put it that way. But no, spiders definitely. Frogs definitely. I think any sort of beasties is just. Ugh. I don't know if it just makes it is a disgusting feeling you get from them, and just where have they been? Because they step on things and they spread germs. The type thing. I think that's more of a psychological thing for me. Is that. But on the creepy crawly insects and amphibians, it's arachnophobia because of spiders, frogs. Eight-Legged Freaks was a comedy, and David Arquette was in that. It was funny. I went to see it at the cinema, and it was just stupid. It was so over the top. But again, when it's a movie that's ripping the piss out of fear of spiders, and also spiders that literally are souped up like fuck, that it was taking arachnophobia like to all new stages of fucked up. But there's again a genre for everything, and there is fans for everything, because some people who like these types of movies like the terrible movies, the terrible stories, and the things that will never, ever, ever happen. This movie is actually 22 years old. Fuck me. Venomous spiders get exposed to a noxious chemical that causes them to grow to monumental proportions. Yeah, so big that humans are just like basically it's like a game for the spiders, I would say, having to run after them. So you've got David Arquette is in it, Scarlett Johansson's in it, and I can't tell you any of the Leon Rippey, know who he is. But anybody else, I do not know. And the movies, like you've got Anaconda here as well, that's another really good one. Lake Placid gets 5.8 out of fucking 10. That's terrible. That movie's awesome. How dare you? IMDb, you suck. So apparently, Eight-Legged Freaks gets genres of action, adventure, comedy, horror, sci-fi, and thriller. It says after a long absence, Chris McCormick returns to his quiet hometown of Prosperity, Arizona, to reopen his late father's mines. However, a chemical spill and lethal toxic waste have created an unstoppable army of giant spiders who prey on the unsuspecting locals, turning Prosperity into an endless buffet. Now it's up to its sheriff, Sam Parker, her son Mike, Sam's plucky daughter Ashley, and the conspiracy theorist Harlan, and a handful of survivors to stop the hairy menace and save the town. But who can stand in the way of a disgusting eight-legged freak? It would surprise you. It would. And again, like I said, we've got Anaconda here. That was again a really old movie, 1997. Ice Cube's in it, isn't he? Yes. Oh my god, that's when he started to get into really terrible movies after Friday. Wow. Danny Trejo. Oh my goodness. John Voight, Jennifer Lopez, Eric Stoltz, Owen Wilson. Again, really, really early movies. When a documentary crew, traveling through the Amazon jungle picks up a stranded man, they're unaware of the trouble that will occur. This stranger's hobby is to capture a giant anaconda snake and plans to continue targeting it on the boat by any means necessary. And now I've got Nicki Minaj's Anaconda stuck in my head. Ah, that's going to be stuck in there forever. This movie had a is that 45 million? Seems to be estimated budget. Made 136 million worldwide for something in 1997 that was terrible. But again, you take a risk back then with some movies. It was absolutely terrible. You just love it when you see the kind of action replay of them slowing down the attack and stuff as well. I always liked the cover because it was like Anaconda, or not just the cover, like the way they did the font with the movie, and it was like the two A's at the end, and they were kind of like fangs because snakes have fangs. So, like I said, Lake Placid gets 5.8 as well. Deep Blue Sea gets 5.9, a whole couple of points more. Oh my god. So apparently, shortly after her horrifying underwater attack in Maine's Black Lake, the local fish and game officer Jack Wells enlists the help of a New York City paleontologist Kelly Scott to investigate what they couldn't get Ross Geller, the best paleontologist in the land. With only a mangled body as their starting point, Jack and Kelly embark on a dangerous mission to find out the mysterious creature as Sheriff Hank Keel, a mythology professor, an eccentric inhabitant. Of course, there's always an eccentric nut job in a town, isn't there? I think I'm the one here. Inhabitant all want to locate the elusive predator first. But something deadly is lurking beneath the silent pond, and it's already taken a liking to the juicy human flesh. What is the secret of Lake Placid? The secret is Betty White can't stop fucking feeding it cows. And when it gets really, really, really hungry, it goes for the other meat. It's called humans or anything that is about. Yeah, pretty much. So I did an extra for us here in the UK. I was discussing this morning with my husband and actually with one of my friends at the weekend. Was in the UK growing up, there in a much simpler time, my generation and generations before. One for my generation, anyone adjacent of the now. The movie's called Watership Down. Now sounds relatively innocent, you would think. No. So, why parents thought watching wee bunny rabbits having a disease and killing each other was an acceptable thing for young minds to watch, that still scars me for life, and I do joke about this like, come on, mum, dad, what the fuck? Did you think that this was suitable? And especially they put it on at Christmas time as well. So like your mum puts you down to watch a movie and you're subjected to this fucking barbaric, horrific scene. Not even scene, it's scenes. The full movie is barbaric as fuck. And all these fucking poor bunny rabbits get a disease and they start fucking attacking each other. And they go absolute mental, they go rogue. So every year without fail, why watching wee cute bunnies getting sick and then turning on each other? And I say this again, this would never be made the way it is now and would not be acceptable for the viewership that it was actually designed for, the demographic that was children and families. This would not happen these days. There's no way kids today would sit through this barbaric shit. There's no fucking way. No, there would not. Would definitely not. Also, the many, many ways on how to destroy said animals with the animated dog testicles. Very much animation, lots of animation into dogs' testicles. Well, it's destroying a rabbit, by the way. So much thought went into that, and there are videos all over YouTube counting down all the deaths in this movie. And we watched one this morning, and it ended with the death of 64 fucking rabbits in unique, and memorable ways for your child slash family friendly viewing to watch rabbits be destroyed in barbaric, horrific ways 64 times. So 64 rabbits were killed, I think, or it was 64 times that rabbits end up being destroyed by each other because of disease. It's in no way child friendly, would you not say? It's a generational thing, and yes, my husband checked it out and he said if he was remembering it worse than what it actually was. But no, he was right the first time. It was as devastating as it was then when he was a child as it is today now. So when animals attack, when animals don't attack, when it's a creation, we have all discussed that what ifs in these movies, but for this genre, the rules are there. There are no rules. And the most obscure, the better. And the ways of taking them out can be from the most complex to the funniest ways that the people figure out sometimes by accident and then turn into saving the world from being destroyed by the entity, whether it's a freak of nature. Some of the best kinds of entities are freaks and we love them, if not more. Or a creation in a lab, something has gone rogue, people making life and trying to become God for all the wrong reasons. Whatever the reason, I think we can all agree that nothing is as it seems in this genre. This is where the cringe can happen, the terrible can overflow, and the horror never ends, whether it's the plot of the story, the acting, or the horrendous on screen CGI. We still enjoy them. But why do we? Let me know in the comments below. Why do you love them so? And why do people continue to watch such terrible plots and horror and the cringe of everything in this? Let us know what you think of these movies and why they stand out from other genres and topics in horror. Tell us why you think this genre never runs out of ideas. Well, everybody's imagination is different, everybody's brains work differently. So, whatever you create, you can pretty much do anything you want. there's so much untapped scenarios that will most likely still be going 20, maybe 30 years later, where the way the world and everybody changes. So it's just ongoing, terrible, terribad, cringe-worthy movies, and it's a genre that makes good money, sometimes better than fucking some blockbusters because they're shite. That was Confession from the Dark Side presents Bitten, creatures that give you the fear to leave or go out. If you like content like this, remember to go check out the Confession from the Dark Side social media platforms, which are Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Buzzsprout. Let us know what you think on our social medias. Let's get chatting about the cringiness of this subject and how terrible it is. It's so terrible that it goes all the way around and becomes good, or does it? Do you hate this genre? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Whether you're over on Instagram or YouTube, drop us a comment. Let's spread how awesome horror is in our community. If you want to get to know us as individuals, then you can check out our links below. I'm Darth Darkness, and I have a YouTube, which is Behind the Mash Reviews, Instagram, Twitch, and Kick, all under the one name. Lunar has a YouTube and a Twitch and an Instagram, and his username is Lunar X Rising. And if you want to reach out to us at any point, if you want to discuss topics, or maybe you have a new topic, or you want to hear our views, you can contact us in confessions from the dark side at gmail.com. And for myself, it's Darcy, but it's behind the mash reviews at gmail.com. And the spelling for that I will put up on the screen. Lunar is lunarxrising at gmail.com if you would wish to speak to him. Now, that is everything for today, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about the craziness that is animals of horror. No doubt we'll probably do a more in depth one, maybe breaking down how they got there or whatever. I'm sure there's plenty of content in this genre. There's plenty content in the whole genre of horror as a whole. And you know what we're like here. We always have something to say each and every week, sometimes multiple times a week. And I'll see you in the next one. This is Confessions from the Dark Side. Bitten, creatures that give you the fear to leave or stay put. This is Darcy Darkness, and this is Confessions from the Dark Side, and I will see you in the next one later.